Alright, ito na. Kamusta kayo dyan, mga kameta? I hope tapos na kayo dun sa mga ibang pinapanood nyo. Kasi alam ko lahat ng mga kaibigan natin dyan. Si Attorney Libayan, si Christian. Alam ko mga 8:30-ish yung mga ano nila, time frame nila. Siyempre tayo naman, simpleng tao lang. Ang ayaw natin sabayan yung mga ano yan, mga lodis na yan. Kaya sabi ko, ihabol na lang natin ng 9:30 itong mga discussion natin. Of course, kahapon napansin ko maraming late na humabol sa discussion namin ni Sir Ronald Diamas. Napatagal, almost 3 hours yung discussion namin kahapon. Kaya na-slice po natin yan. Nako, nag-respond ng Philippine Airlines sa pinost ko na ayan naman tayo eh. Bakit kasi? Ayan. Di ba may comment ako dyan kanina, no? Nanalo kasi ng award itong Philippine Airlines as most on-time airline. Tapos may, alam mo naman, sutil tayo. Sabi ko, also most rebook canceled airline. Nag-respond ka agad ng Philippine Airlines. Hello, Richard. We understand the schedule changes can be frustrating and we sincerely apologize. Ayan, we look forward to serving you better. Ayan. Mahirap talaga mag-comment ka. Bilis sumagot ha. Pero by the way, salamat sa Philippine Airlines dun sa binigyan nilang mileage kahit paano dun sa mga na-cancel dati. Yun din ang sana gagamitin namin sa mga flights recently tuloy. Pati yung ginamit na mileage dun sa na-cancel pa yung mileage, na-cancel pa yung flight na yan. But anyway, kaya napasalita ako. Anyway, mahal natin ng Philippine Airlines dahil atin to. Kaya panindigan na lang natin yan. Okay guys, ito guys, things are getting serious. Things are moving very very fast guys. So after ito matagal na diskusyon dito sa ito I guess na baka si Liamas nandun na sa kabila ngayon. Parang medyo alam ko na yung algorithm na ngayon eh. Anyway, pag-usapan natin ito guys because now you have no less than the president himself putting essentially the imprimatur, no? The presidential imprimatur dito sa Chacha. At meron na silang time frame, so isabay na daw sa midterm elections next year ang itong charter change. Of course, not charter change yet. It's gonna be a plebiscite, meaning boboto ang mga taong bayan whether pwede tayo magkaroon ng constitutional change. So mukhang yun ang approach nila guys. So, things are getting serious na. So, mukhang hindi lang ito ay position ng isang faction lang. Hindi lang ito ay hanash lang ng mga iba dyan sa Kongreso or Senado. Mukhang mga kameta, ito ay talaga may presidential imprimatur na. So, let's discuss that. One thing that is very important here is, surprise, si Digong ngayon ay nag-change tone ulit. Yun ang sinasabi ko parate. Kaya doon ako nag-disagree kay minamahal natin ka-host na si Ronald kasi last year pa niya sinabi na ito na talaga, this is it. Sabi ko hindi ito this is it kasi maglalaro talaga mga Dutertes and Marcoses because both of them are trying to avoid the D-Day situation. At si Digong, as much as nagwawala siya, minsan nag-adjust din siya, nagta-tactical retreat siya. So nagkaroon ng tactical retreat din si Digong. So ngayon, sabi ni Digong, okay din siya sa etong mga constitutional amendments. Pero meron siyang caveat, wag sana galawin yung presidential term limits. Dahil of course, iniisip niya yung kalagayan ng kanyang anak, 'di ba? Na seen as one of the frontrunners. Let's be very clear, hindi na po frontrunner si Sara. Hindi na siya the frontrunner. One of the frontrunner na siya. Because katulad ng sinabi natin, may isang senador diyan na mukhang siya na yung nagna-number 1 ngayon dun sa mga survey agencies. Now, ito yung mga unpublished dahil ito mga commission. So mukhang yung nag-commission, parang gets ko sino nag-commission kaya ay i-release to kasi hindi na siya number 1. But mahabang usapan na to. Pero kami naman kasi may access kami sa sa mga even non-commissioned or at least we can confirm the data. So sa pagkaalam natin hindi na front runner. Wait lang, na-distract ako sa Philippine Airlines. Okay, pag-usapan natin 'yan. By the way, guys, pasensya na dun sa audio problems kahapon and all kasi ayan na. Nasaan na yung scotch tape ko na Gumagana naman kanina, check ko yung earphones, gumagana naman yung scotch tape na yan. So baka naman ang problema dito mga guys, baka ang problema yung phone ko. Baka luma na kasi itong phone na ginagamit natin isa. Kasi syempre yung medyo mas maganda natin phone, ginagamit natin dun sa mga iba. O baka mag-away yung mga platforms natin. So ayan na, baka kailangan natin kumuha ng bagong phone. O baka naman, malapit pa naman birthday natin. Ayan naman, nagparinig. Hindi, seryoso ha. Hindi guys, pero kung may recommendation kayo, kasi actually may mga, nag-jet lag din yung phone ko. Kasi yung nasa scotch tape ko na earphones. Hindi ko alam. Mukhang gumagana naman. Nag-scotch tape ulit ako kanina. Ma, nasan yung na-scotch tape ko kanina? Ma. Yes, wala naman tao. Wait lang guys ya. Kunin ko yung para makita nyo talagang pinipilit ko to. Wala na. Ito guys para maniwala kayo sa akin. Sabi ko baka ang problema sa sa mga earphones ko nadagdag ko yung scotch tape. Kung maalala niyo yung first year natin nag-vlogging, nakikita niyo ito yung scotch tape na nakikita niyo, di ba? Yung mga naalala niyo yung mga first year natin mag-vlog lang, yung panahon na elections. Parating nakaganyan ako, di ba? Tapos nakikita niyo yung mga naka-scotch tape. Tapos lukot-lukot na ganyan. O yan. Eto nandyan pa rin. So dinagdagan ko pa ng isa pa dito. Tsaka isa pa dito. So kitang-kita talaga yung pagka Ilocano natin. Todo bigay. Never give up. Alright? Never give up. So na-test ko naman. Kumana naman. Nag-test ako. So sabi ko baka dahil luma na itong phone na isang ginagamit natin, baka yun yung dahilan. Kaya actually nagre-research ako baka kasi naiinis ako sa iPhone, halos walang improvement eh. 'Di ba? Kasi syempre natatry ko yung iPhone every other generation or so, walang improvement. So siguro i-check ko ngayon Samsung na lang. Oo. Kung yung mga iba dyan, may Samsung dyan, anong suggestion nyo na kahit yung mga last year or something like that na para hindi mahal. Baka mas magandang Samsung kasi ang habol din natin guys, yung selfie camera. So, baka yun na lang kunin ko. Kasi yung iPhone halos walang improvement. Yung iPhone 14, 15 halos walang change. 13, 14 konting improvement. Yung 12 para mas maganda pa sa 13. S23, yun siguro. Wag yung latest S24 ba yan? Masyadong mahal. Kahit mag-suggest na lang kayo kasi iniisip ko mas maganda talaga na Samsung na lang kung magsi-selfie videos tayo. Kasi nakita niyo naman luma talaga itong isang phone ko. So it's not worth to buy iPhone na mamahalan ako for what you're getting out of it for ease na lang. So siguro Samsung na lang. Anyway, kung may suggestions lang kayo, thank you by the way guys yung mga nag-suggestion dun sa professional camera. So salamat naman nakagamit tayo ng professional camera. But yun nga, ang problema naman sa professional hindi ko magamit yan sa Facebook platforms So kailangan natin ng phone. Ang suggestion ko siguro Samsung siguro. So kung Honor, yung China. Problema kasi sa China, guys, alam niyo naman yung nature of work natin, di ba? So actually, meron ako isa pang phone na matino. Kaso may TikTok na doon. So no offense sa TikTok. Pero dahil nandun na yung TikTok, di ko na malagay yung mga ibang Facebook or apps ko. So ang tawag dyan, guys, hygiene. Digital hygiene. So kung may nalagay na akong medyo dodgy na hindi ko na siya magamit doon sa mga sensitive platforms or communications na ginagamit natin. Kasi guys, verified accounts tong mga to. So hindi ito biro. So yun ang problema ko. Kaya yung lumang ginagamit kong backup. Kaya siguro yun ang dahilan. Kasi na-test ko talaga ito guys. Promise. Nilagay ko pa ng scotch tape na isa pa dito. Isa dito. Dapat gumagana So baka yung phone talaga yung problema. Anyways, thank you sa suggestion niya. Sige, S23 or siguro sa magandang Honor, mas maganda pa nga sa Samsung kasi yun nga, China No offense, pero for security reasons, medyo malabo. Maganda siya for video and all, pero kasi kailangan ko for Facebook and all. Anyway, wag iPhone 15, mga iPhone, meron na tayong, ayoko ng iPhone na mahal masyado, tapos hindi naman ganun kaganda yung camera. Okay, thanks guys again sa suggestions niya. Maganda rin yung suggestion niyo guys dun sa professional camera and all. So thank you so much. May mga na-video din ako, marami akong So, kailangan ko upuan yan, yung mga videos na nakuha natin sa Tokyo, videos na nakuha natin sa Washington, D.C., at God willing, dun sa mga susunod natin visit. So, I'm just gathering things to put them together. Alright? But from my understanding, mas magandang Samsung sa iPhone. Especially sa selfie. Mas magandang Chinese sa lahat, kaso yun nga. Hindi ko malagay yung mga... Alam nyo na. Okay, alam nyo na mga limitations natin, mga kameta. Kaya pag TikTok or something, burner phone na kaagad yan. Okay. Sorry na ano tayo. I'm just trying to apologize guys dun sa bad audio kahapon kasi nakita ko marami nag-comment na bad audio. So na-hurt ako kasi pinaghirapan natin yun. Kahit sobrang jet lag ako and all, go pa rin ako dun sa discussion namin. Almost 3 hours, di ba? 9 p.m. until 11:30 yung discussion namin. So napaisip ako, ano pong problema? Baka itong mga earphones ko, baka it's the phone. So let's look at the options. Yun na lang gift ko sa sarili ko. Hindi, masyadong mahal. Maghanap na lang tayo ng baka may second hand, no? Oo. Okay, let's get back to discussion, guys. I hope you accept my sincere apologies dun sa bad audio and all of that. Anyways, the good news naman is yung finalized na clear version po. Although hindi yung buong buo, part by part na-upload na natin sa YouTube. So, 2 of them are already there on YouTube, mga kameta. Of course, yung discussion natin sa whether this is the worst Senate ever. At of course, ang sagot is no, in a sense that things can get worse. And then yung pangalawa is Spirit of EDSA. Mahabang usapan yan. Almost 1 hour kami nag-usap yan because we talk about Brazil, etc. Now, let's go back to the Philippines. But before I go, guys, before tayo pupunta dito sa diskusyon ng Chacha and all, can someone just explain to me ano ba ang nangyayari dito? Honestly. So eto guys, remember nag-discuss kami ng episode ni si Ronald Llamas na nandun na sa kabilang channel ngayon. Hindi, ito guys, diba? Diniscuss natin itong EDSA, Spirit of EDSA. And itong problema kung saan, sa ating palagay, ang mga Duterte po ay ina-appropriate po nila yung EDSA for their own political ends. So nakita natin na si Digong openly discussed the possibility of people power against Marcos dun sa isa sa mga threats niya nung nag-speech sila sa Davao last January. And then, more recently, nakikita natin na pumuposition ng mga Dutertes, including the current Vice President dito sa issue ng EDSA. So, there was an initial statement that came out kung saan sinabi ni Sara Duterte na something like, EDSA is about the usual stuff, di ba? It's about people power, people fighting for their rights, ganyan. And then, biglang na-delete yan. So, napaisip ang tao. Ito yung nakikita ko. So, EDSA anniversary message. Ito nakita kong version. On this day, we commemorate the brave souls who stood united on the streets of EDSA fighting for democracy and freedom. Their courage and determination paved the way for a better Philippines and their sacrifices and will never be forgotten. And we celebrate this momentous occasion. Let us remember the lesson of EDSA, the power of unity. Ayan naman unity, the strength of the Philippine spirit. Okay, but ito yung importante. And the importance of standing up for what is right. So let us continue to build a nation where justice, peace, and prosperity, blah, 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 blah. So I think that was the part na na medyo tricky, and the importance of standing up for what is right. So may pagka challenging ang dating niya. And the next thing you know, natanggal itong mensahe na to base sa mga reports na nakita natin. So nag-release ng clarificatory statement itong vice presidente natin or opisina niya. So basahin niyo yan kasi to be honest, parang I don't know how to say it. Parang, this is anything but clarificatory, di ba? Yun ang inaisip ko eh. So ito yung sinabi niya, what I said in 2017, parang ang tagal na yan. What I said in 2017 regarding the February 25 EDSA anniversary has never changed. My position remains the same. So kailangan pa natin i-Google? Or kailangan pa tayo pumunta sa ngayon naman bad yung audio naman sa YouTube. Ayun, ano ba naman to? Test ka natin ito. Nasasabotahe talaga yata tayo. Di naman. Okay naman yung response ng iba dito. Mas clear ba? Itong scotch tape. Itong scotch tape na ito. Ito, I did not ito. So, ang weird, mag-release ka ng statement tapos parang essentially sinasabi mo, refer to my 2017 statement. Parang i-google pa namin yan. Ano to? Parang academic references, if footnote mo pa yan. I did not intend to issue a statement this year. Saan yun? Napilitan ka? As I did not the previous year. Ang gulo, di ba? Because of this, ayan, pumangit daw. Eh, kaya nga, nagtrabaho. Okay na yan. Because of this, I removed the EDSA anniversary post from my social media page. I hope this will put the matter to rest. Ang labo, di ba? Yung parang sinabi na, paala na lang kayo dyan, hanapin nyo lang yung sinabi ko noong 2017. Alright? Hanapin, nanggugulo ka kasi Noemi eh. Okay naman yung audio eh. Ikaw lang nagreklamo, yan na tuloy. Alam mo, minsan bago kayo magreklamo si Karadin, hindi sa inyo yung problema, okay? Wag niyo ako i-gaslight. Okay naman daw yung pumangit lalo daw yung ginamit ko itong scotch tape na earphones. Anyways guys, ito I did not intend to issue what I did not intend to issue statement. So bakit ka ba nag-issue ng statement ngayon? Tapos in-emphasize pa niya na hindi rin siya nag-issue ng statement last year. I mean, what's going on here? Because of this, I removed the EDSA anniversary post from I don't know guys, something's going on. Ang labo ng communications ngayon, no? I cannot even call this passive aggressive. I definitely it's not clarificatory statement dahil ang labo. Parang mas malabo pa ito. Now, let me be absolutely clear. I appreciate how the vice president is, constantly tries to pay due respect dun sa ating mga moral brothers and sister by using certain terms of greetings and all of that. I think that's a very good thing. I always appreciate them with them. At the same time, I hope this is not a way to kind of say na like to go the regional approach kasi after all she's the vice president of all Filipinos, 'di ba? And at the very least also we want a certain degree of clarity of purpose. Masyadong malabo ito eh. Parang all over the place to eh. Parang what I said in 2017, like as if fina-follow natin every statement na sinasabi nyo since ever. Like 2017. Honestly, sino sa mga I know, I just want to be nice. Tapos sasabihin, I did not intend to issue a statement. So ano, napilitan ka? And then, I did not last year. So, ni-remove ko yung this year. Tapos, anyway, whew, good luck na lang sa atin, honestly. Good luck talaga sa atin. Good luck talaga sa atin. Kasi, kaya ako nanood na lang ako ng vlogs ni Madam eh. Yung mga vlogs niya sa kitchen daw, yung mga ganun. Ito guys, may nag-send sa atin. Mahal na mahal ko kayo eh. Yung mga makulit din kayo. Mag-send kayo ng kung mag-send na yung mga interesting stuff. Ito guys, Saan yan? Ito. Hindi ko na lang sabing sino nag-send baka.
Hi! Gusto ko lang i-share sa inyo ang aming kusina.
Ayan.
Ito.
Ayan. Mga kusina vlogs.
Helbi mo ang trapudan.
Yan na lang mga pinapanood ko ngayon kay Madam. Mga ganyan na lang kasi hindi ko mag-gets yung mga ano niya eh.
Tulungan mo ang LV na trapudan.
Ayan, yung mga ganun na lang.
Hi! Gusto ko lang i-share sa inyo ang aming kusina. Ito.
Hi! Yan, ganun na lang po guys. Next time, hindi na tayo. Ayan na. Hi! Hi!
Hindi lang isa dyan.
So, wala. Mga ganun na lang pa pinapanood ko ngayon kay Madam. Baka may mas clarity pa dyan. Okay. Ito guys, of course, I know objectively bentang-benta ito sa marami sa ating mga kababayan. But obviously, as you know, we don't do analysis based on popularity. Diba? Kasi kung ganun ang basihan, edi pag-usapan na lang natin si, Willie Revillame na lang. Everyday na lang, mag-Willie na lang tayo. Or I don't know. O mag-Robin Hood na lang tayo, diba? But, yun nga. At least may may details and clarity yung mga ganyan vlogs ni Madam. Kaysa itong mga supposedly clarificatory statement. But, balikan natin yung original, no? Yung OG. Which is yung tatay. Literally yung tatay. Balikan natin to si tatay. Si tatay, as usual, may change of heart na naman yata. Or I don't know, change of tone, nag-change tone na naman siya. So eto, biglang si Tatay Digong, hindi against BBM, hindi against dito sa Chacha. Para sa kanya ngayon, bigla, Chacha is a breath of fresh air. Ayan talaga si Tatay Digong. And then nung tinanong pa siya ukol kay Quiboloy, ito pa interesting tinanong pa siya ukol sa Quiboloy, you would have expected him to stand by his good friend all the way. Pero wala, parang deflection lang ginawa niya dito Tingnan niyo guys. Tingnan natin itong again, of course, you know why I'm doing this because all of these things are connected. When a politician of Duterte's stature with quite some influence, when he makes statements, you have to understand those statements within a particular context, di ba? At of course, you wonder anong stance ni Digong ngayon dito sa mga ito sa kanyang kaibigan, di ba? Kasi parang nag-change tone na talaga si tatay ngayon ulit Pero I won't be ambitious. Ito tinanong siya dito. Ito. Nung tinanong siya dun sa issue ni Quiboloy na binigyan siya ng bags of guns daw. Ito yung sabi niya.
Ako pa ba ang mag-deliver sa kanya?
Ako pa daw mag-deliver sa kanya ng canyons.
Ako pa ba ang mag-deliver sa kanya?
Ba't mahinang internet
Yung
na?
bukas o machine gun. Bakit ba si pastor magbigay ng baril sa akin? Sama siya magkuha. Kung magsabi siya wala siyang baril, ako pa ba ang mag-deliver sa kanya?
Ako pa daw mag-deliver sa kanya ng machine gun. But you see, that's what Duterte does, di ba? Whenever you put him under a serious question na potentially incriminating, ang ginagawa lang niya, papalitan lang niya yung topic tapos magpapatawa lang siya, di ba? You see, that's one of the communication strengths ni Digong na napansin ko. Yung tactical and strategic usage of humor. Tactical in a sense na minsan yun yung pang-deflect niya. Di ba? Kunyari, very contentious yung issue or medyo alanganin siya. Magpapatawa lang siya. Wala na. Tapos na usapan. Di ba? People will just remember the jokes and all. And sometimes very inappropriate jokes, unfortunately. Sometimes jokes that are not even jokes. They're more like incendiary, offensive things. And then there are times na strategic talaga siya. Hindi lang siya tactical. In a sense na he's just using humor in general to reinforce yung kanyang populist appeal. 'Di ba? Ang dami ko na-meet ng tao na yung si Tatay Digong nakaka-relate yun kasi nakakatawa siya, parang alam mo yun guys, yung parang mga ginagawa natin na patawa na ganyan. So I understand why siguro the Vice President is trying to just do yung mga videos na gano'n. Kasi siguro napansin niya, it's easier to get to get closer to the heart of people pag gumagamit ka ng mga ganyan humor kaysa yung you get very serious and all and then you make faux pas, you make you make a mistake here tapos ikaw pang education secretary. So I see what's going on here. I think the advice is magpatawa na lang tayo, Inday, or something like that. Kasi kitang-kita natin gumagana talaga sa tatay niya In fact, kanina I was going through videos. May nakita tayong videos sa TikTok, for instance. And I think that's very important. Balikan natin yan. I'll post it separately. Ito yung video ni Digong nung debate nila sa TV5. Diba? I think dun talaga Digong was able to be the breakout star. I think that debate, he did horribly in terms of substance, but in terms of audience impact, ang galing niya ito yung debate na pinagtatawanan niya si Marroas. Uy, kanina ka pa nag-CR, pangatlong beses mo na. Yung mga ganon, yung mga banter niya. Tapos yung di ba sila Grace po, napaka-respectful, stateswoman-like, nag-greet si Lord de Vera, ganyan. Tapos si Digong, sorry, wala akong kilala sa inyo Hi na lang ako dun sa mga hindi minention. Yung mga ganun siya. So meron siyang strategic deployment of humor talaga to make a strong populist appeal. So humor, dark humor, and sometimes very offensive quote-unquote humor is what he uses in order to reinforce yung kanyang emotional, affective connection sa tao. So kitang-kita natin kay Digong yan, yung ganyan style. Or tactically uses it for deflecting criticism or if there's a question. So dito tinanong siya about Quiboloy and guns, nagpatawa na lang siya, ay hindi, ba't yung pare pa magbigay sa ako pa magbigay ng ganyan, machine gun, ganyan, canyon. So you see that, there's something going on there. Now my sense is Sara is trying to replicate that. I just don't know how successful it is. Right? Because I just don't think it's at the same level as Digong, honestly. I think Digong still does it very, very differently. Kaya hindi ako nagtataka na yung kaibigan natin na si Lele Claudio, Professor Claudio. For him, Digong is the master rhetorician, not speaker, in a sense that he's not a very good speaker. Like, ang sabog yung minsan, hindi mo alam kung saan papunta yung discussion. But the impact is very strong, right? The impact is very strong. And my sense is, especially when he speaks in his own language, which is Bisaya. By the way, Bisaya is a language, it's not a dialect. In the same way that Ilocano is a language, it's not a dialect. It's not a variation of Tagalog. You can say there's a Batangueño version of Tagalog. It could be a dialect, but when it comes to Bisaya, it's a completely different language from Tagalog or Filipino, right? I think when Digong is speaking in Bisaya, even if I don't understand it really, konti lang here and there, I could see yung grabe yung audience impact niya. Grabe, yung the way gumaganon siya, yung parang ginigigil-gigil niya yung sasabihin niya. I think, even as someone who doesn't speak Bisaya, I could see the strength of that strategy. So, hindi ako nagtataka na minsan siguro si Sarah is trying to pull off something similar, but it's not at the same level. Kaya nga sabi ko, one thing interesting to watch here is Baste. Because I think Baste has a better grasp or better ability to replicate yung father niya. Except, of course, at least one thing that Sarah and her father have in common is that both of them have legal training. So, that gives them a certain kind of pizzazz or some sort of authority I think gives them some sort of cover also for things that they do. I mean, they can always say, bakit? Ako, abogado ako. Bakit? Paano mo sabihin ng ganyan-ganyan? Diba? So, I'm just telling you, all of these things are related na pinag-iisipan lahat yan. Even yung mga malabong clarificatory statement and then magpapatawa ka na lang on the sides. You're playing to different audiences and you're using different cadence, using different communication strategies to reach out to different audience and have an overall impact. Anyway, I was also looking at how Digong will say something about Quiboloy because as far as BBM is concerned, at least si BBM may statement siya kay Quiboloy, di ba? Na basically ang statement ni BBM kay Quiboloy is huwag kang matakot, there's nothing to fear, magpakita ka, and then nung tinanong siya about the assassination plot, yung mga ganun, wala, napatawa na lang siya. Ayan, pati si BBM, napatawa na lang siya nung tinanong siya about sino naman mag-assassinate sa kanya? Diba? Pakita ka na lang para walang ano. So, essentially you have both BBM and Digong trying to just downplay the drama and all of that. So you can guess ano yung sinasabi ng ibang tao. And this is where you see Digong is such a consummate politician. He's a total politician. In a sense that this is not about ideology. Hindi ito sa consistencies ng sinasabi niya. It's not even about the substance of his argument. Ang style ni Digong lang is whatever works. What worked in January may not work in February, so ibahin ko yung sasabihin ko. Yung seryoso, hindi gumana, di magpatawa ako. Kung masyado naman ako magpatawa, baka makalimutan niyo ng presidente ako at abogado ako, di remind natin ng tao na medyo matalino din tayo, medyo abogado din tayo. You see what I'm saying? So, he's a consummate politician. Very, very politician. Now, he's a different kind of politician from BBM because the BBM politician is a kind of, kunyari, above the phrase style of politician. But kay Digong is a consummate populist kind of politician. So, parati tinitingnan ko what is Sara trying to do in terms of replicating yung style ng father niya. Again, none of this is an endorsement, right? Of the approach of Digong to politics. As you know, I'm very, very critical of his approach kasi para sa akin, minsan pang barangay level lang. Although no offense sa mga barangay chairman, marami tayong kilala ng mga barangay chairman na mas matino mag-isip at mas magaling magsalita. Pero, I cannot ignore and I cannot deny its appeal. Unfortunately, it does have a very strong appeal. And I don't think it helps people in the opposition, the pink movement, even yung mga loyalists, na to just dismiss lang Digong or just make fun of Digong and all. I mean, he's funny, you can laugh at him, you can laugh with him, but at the end of the day, ang lakas pa rin nung hatak nila eh. Yun ang sinasabi ko parati, kaya I'm not surprised na BBM will try to keep things on an even keel. Having said that, so while I disagree with si Ronaldo na the Bardagulan will come to a denouement, meaning some sort of culmination, in the short term. So far, I've been proven right. Culmination did not happen. Even if yung minura-mura ni tatay yung isa, hindi pa rin. Ayaw pa rin ng D-Day yung isa. So now, Digong also sensing na yung kabila is not so easy to trigger. He's also changing tone. So this is actually a fight of two types of traditional politicians. Both very consummate politicians. Consummate politicians si BBM, consummate politicians si Duterte. And I think Duterte is smart enough to realize na pagdating dito sa issue ng Chacha, gravity is favoring the administration side. There's just too many people doon sa ruling establishment, sa Kongreso, among others, who are invested na dito sa Chacha. And you could see, despite all the drama of Mig Zubiri, all those statements na ni-release, unanimous statement by the Senate about, their questions about people's initiative, despite all of the backlash against Etsa Puera, and all of the shenanigans, by some of the congressmen out there, tuloy pa rin ang usapan. It looks like, and I think we partially discussed this with si Ronald kahapon, and I think you also listened to this discussion siguro kanina with Christian Esquera, or ongoing pa rin ba? The thing is, mukhang there is a kind of a modus vivendi or some sort of a least common denominator or a working consensus na between Senate and Congress, which is hindi gagamitin ng Kongreso yung kanilang numerical superiority to essentially marginalize the entire Senate. But it looks like there may be enough numbers to push for some sort of charter change, right? Or at the very least, and dito mahalaga yung sinasabi ni BBM na discuss natin shortly, there will be a push for a plebiscite whereby essentially ma-formalize and potentially ma-institutionalize etong constitutional change. So first, let's quickly talk about Digong, alright? Honestly guys, itong mga monologue style, okay, there are a bunch of people there who make comments about, Richard, bakit ka, why do you go around, beat around the bush? Why don't you go straight to your discussion? As I said, all right, if you're in my classroom, if you have seen me in think tanks, if you have seen me in if you have followed my stuff, in media, I go straight to the point. But if there's one thing I realize from the populist and all, and mga bulljack style, mga bloggers and all, is that people also appreciate the kind of a monologue style whereby you're playing all these games and all. Actually, not games. You're taking people on a journey of a conversation. You're thinking things out loud, and you essentially are allowing people to think along with you while you go to the meat of the discussion. It's a I would say it's an Aristotelian approach, right? Mahabang usapan yan. The Socratic Platonic approach is you start with some great idea and then immediately you break it down, diba? The Aristotelian approach is you build from ground and then you move above, diba? Kaya yung monologue style and all, that's the approach, alright? So everything I do, guys, here, it's not just like that. Pinag-isipan natin yan, right? And it's also based on thousands of vlogs we have done, right? If you go to my YouTube, I think we have already uploaded 1,500 vlogs already, right? So everything we do there is based on experience, based on interaction. And I'll be very honest, guys. Yeah, yung inductive, deductive, all of that. But it's just not inductive, deductive. There's also kind of a rhetorical build-up style. But mahabang usapan yan. But what I'm telling you guys is, right, this is a conversation we're having because as much as I'm discussing this issue, tinitingnan ko yung comments nyo, iniisip ko rin yung mga dinidiscuss natin. So actually, we're learning together. So I hope you guys appreciate what we're doing here. Okay? In fairness naman, it looks like, marami tayong mga supporters all around the world. Oh, by the way, thank you so much dun sa mga kameta natin from United Arab Emirates and Italy. So hindi lang tayo number 1 dito and consistently among the top podcast tayo dito, hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas pero sa region. Salamat din sa mga kababayan natin in other countries around the world, especially United Arab Emirates, Italy, etc. Even sa Australia, Singapore, minsan hindi lang tayo nagta-top 100, top 50, minsan top 20 pa tayo or top 10 pa tayo sa mga political podcasts nila. So I really appreciate that. So it looks like marami sa ating mga kababayan na appreciate nila yung how we're approaching these things. But anyway, going back to this, I'm what we're trying to do here is gusto ko makita nyo na, when we discuss an issue, we're not just discussing the issue based on what's there in the news We're not just discussing an issue of Chacha as in Chacha. You have to understand the psychological games here. You have to understand the biography of people we're talking about. You have to understand your algorithm. Essentially, what I'm doing is I'm giving you a sense of my understanding of Tigong's algorithm. Because pinag-aralan ko na mabuti itong tao na to more than 6-7 years. I mean, first year pa lang naman, nakasulat na tayo ng libro about him. But I never pretended to fully understand what was going on, diba? But you know, when I pay attention to something, I obsessively pay attention to it. Alright? How I wish I had more interesting people to focus on, but it is what it is. This is about our country. We have to understand what's going on with our leaders, with the people out there, whether you like them or not, right? And also with BBM, all right. As you can see, guys, I discussed BBM's. I mean, many things that we predicted about BBM have come true, uh, including mga articles natin in the first days after election. But at the same time, I'm never complacent in the sense that alam ko na yung gagawin nila. No, I'm constantly trying to learn and figure out the algorithm of these people. Ayan na naman tayo, Konya style. Okay, let's go back to this. So speaking of Digong, being a conscious politician, so biglang may konting switch gear siya. You see, this switch gear thing is something you guys have to get used to. This is what politicians do, all right? Because they have no ideology, have no coherent vision. They're just tactical situational. That's a term that you guys have to keep in mind. Tactical situational. In fact, I got the term from the very good historian na si Adam Tooze, who tried to understand how, for instance, regulators in the United States responded to financial crisis. The term tactical situational means you're driven not by ideology or grand vision. You're driven by, yes, tactical, strategic, situational, contingent kind of calculus. It's about survival. It's about going from one crisis to the other and going from strength to strength. Or when you're weak, you recover. So that's why there's absolutely no surprise in my heart that Digong will come out and suddenly say this about the Chacha, that this is a breath of fresh air. So sabi niya, so ito yung base dun sa isang kasi yung administration nag-welcome na sila. So I'm just trying to find the exact quote from Digong. Bakit hindi yung quote ni Digong nandito? Wait lang, I'm just trying to find. But from what I saw in the videos, si Digong said something like, ang concern lang naman niya is yung sa presidential term limits and all. Because as far as he's concerned, at least he followed that. Although we know naman the context for that, diba? Pumalpak lang kasi gusto niyang Medvedev-Putin scenario. But anyway, at least in his case. So, suddenly he's being the voice of, reason. Na, sige, okay lang, palitan yung constitution na wag lang galawin yung term limits ng presidente. Kasi that will trigger warning yan, diba? That will trigger panic, especially if your president is, someone named Ferdinand Marcos Jr. So, Digong essentially did two change tone. First was, he said, hindi ko tinawag na drug addict si, alam niyo na. Sabi niya, wala akong sinabi na ganun ha. Even if you kill me 1,000 times, wala akong sinabing ganun. I did not say that. Even if you kill me 1,000 times, I did not say such a thing. Make it taking a drug. Pero kung sabihin mong addict, wala akong sinabing ganyan. Patayin ako ni Marcos niyan. Maawa ka naman sa akin. Matanda na ako. Well, except, guys, itag na natin doon sa video kung saan sinabi niya. Nagmura-mura siya na meron tayong drug addict sa, nako. But this is what he does. He says something and he totally contradicts it and he's okay with that, as if nothing happened. We see this with Donald Trump. We see this with Bolsonaro. We see this with Orban. Levels lang yan. We see this even with Vladimir Putin. Yung ganyan na paiba-ibang sinasabi niya. And now, of course, change of tone din siya dito sa Chacha issue. So with essentially with with Digong also withdrawing his direct attack against some sort of charter change, I think the road is very much paved na for BBM and the administration to push things forward. That's why this is something very serious and we have to really discuss it. So, ito yung sinabi ni Bongbong Marcos. Sabi na, if possible, we can have the plebiscite in the local elections to be held in May next year, meaning 2025. That will be a huge deal. That will save us so much. So that's why we're studying it in terms of logistics. Kasi kung sinabay mo ito, right? Sinabay mo itong plebiscite sa new constitution, meaning meron kang form, pipili ka kung sino mga gusto mong senador, ganun. Meron din isa pang form, sangayon ka ba sa constitutional amendment, blah blah blah, anong gusto mo mangyari, parang agree ka ba na okay lang palitan yung economic provisions. I don't know, the final versions, I think it's still somehow in the works, but it will go through some sort of plebiscite. So it looks like the administration is already worrying. Ay, wait lang. Parang sarili ko ang kino-quote ko dito. Ayan. Ayan, Richard Haydar yan. Ayan. Ito yung sinabi ko sa Time Magazine. So this is the article by Time Magazine. Now, of course, one concern will be, as I said here in Time Magazine, dito sa article na yan, is that baka magamit as a vehicle or Trojan horse itong constitutional change. So, ako kasi personally, I do not agree dun sa argumento na pag pinalitan mo yung constitution, automatically maging magandang bansa natin in terms of investments and all of that. I think that's just blah blah. I think that's just nothing burger. Because if you look at Vietnam, you look at China, you look at many countries with very restrictive property rights and investment rules, ang laki pa rin nakukuha nilang investment. Not because investors look at things like cost of logistics, proper infrastructure, tax breaks. They're looking at things like regulatory predictability. They're looking at things like political stability. They're looking at things as like human capital, production cost, productivity trends. Yun yung mga ganyan ang tinitignan ng mga tinitignan ng mga investors when they come to a country. So yung mga nagsabi na magical, if we change yung mga certain provisions of our constitutions, then we're going to be super progressive. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't think that these people understand basic development economics or have done a basic comparative analysis. Or worse, ginagamit lang ito para lang excuse to push for some sort of change in the Constitution. Now, so far, as I said, mukhang the agreement is there'll be some sort of coordinated voting by both Senate and the Congress and the coordination dun sa content ng anong mga provisions ang papalitan at anong pupunta dyan sa plebiscite next year. But as I said, while there is an agreement on changing certain provisions of the Constitution when it comes to the economic aspect of our Constitution, I doubt that this is really the ultimate purpose. And I doubt that this will be the ultimate thing. But having said that, even if yung plebiscite next year will just be about the economic provisions, the moment na papalitan yung economic provisions na yan, the moment na mag-clear ito sa plebiscite, you're gonna set a precedence. You're kind of normalizing opening kind of forms. Kasi the moment na maging okay sa tao na palitan yung ating saligang batas, the next thing you know, there's gonna be another plebiscite about another provisions, right? Or if BBM will not succeed in doing that, the next administration will push for that. So it's for me, it's a psychological barrier, but also it's about clearing a political barrier. It's a kind of an uncharted territory. So yun ang tinitignan natin. Wait lang, block ko lang itong mga walang yang to. Hector, wag kang bastos. Oh, yan, block ka na. Sino pa? Ayan, ito rin, block din natin. Ayan, ayan, bastos kayo dyan. I-block kayo. Simple as that. Umayos kayo dito. Yan, okay. Ayan, ano. Okay, tanggal ka na. Yan umayos kayo dyan. Okay, kung ayaw nyo ma-improve yung utak nyo sa buhay, kung ayaw nyo medyo tumaas-taas ang pag-intindi nyo sa buhay, di wag na kayo pumunta dito. Di ba? Ganun kasimple lang naman eh. Ganun kasimple lang naman. Huwag kayong manggulo dito sa classroom natin, right? We're having a proper discussion here. So, what I'm saying is this. If the Senate and Congress can agree, even to the minimum of just economic provisions, you're already setting a precedence eh. You're already setting a precedence. Of course, ang sense ko is, bago matapos ang taon at bago ito darating ang 2025 elections, there'll be gradually a push for more comprehensive constitutional change. If not a new constitution altogether, charter change meaning, right? But even if that doesn't happen, you're already setting a precedence and you're potentially opening kind of forms here, right? Because you're normalizing the idea of tinkering with the constitution of the country. So having said that, kaya nga sabi ko yes, you can say in a way it's a slippery slope, right? You're opening kind of forms there. Because for 40 years almost, guys. At least from 1986 all the way to 2025, 2024, I would say, almost 40 years, no? Uh, the idea of changing the constitution was stigmatized. Na nako, the moment na you do that, gusto mong maging diktador. Gusto mong ibalik yung mga Marcos-style dictatorship. But now, if a Marcos Jr. overseas, without much controversy and backlash, even partial changes dun sa ating saligang batas, you're already setting a precedence. So, sabi ko nga, this precedence may benefit Marcos ahead of 2028 elections, or at the very least, it will allow the next president after him or the next generation to push for something else. Kasi madali lang sabihin ng next president na, okay, maraming salamat sa dating presidente, ginawa nila itong economic charter change or amendment lang sa saligang batas. Pero kulang yan, guys, para mas marami pa tayong bigas, mas marami pa tayong investment, mas marami pa tayong trabaho. Kailangan pa natin palitan yung mga ganyan. So you can see, this would escalate. Kaya nga parati ko sinasabi na mahalaga na talaga may opposition dyan sa Senado. Mahalaga na mobilize ang opposition. Hindi pwede nagpa-popcorn lang because things are already moving. There is already a mobilization in favor of constitutional change. And as I said, even if maging partial lang yan, you never know after 2025. Baka after 2025, if mas malakas pa si BBM, he'll push even for more. Or if after 2025, kung hindi pa malakas si BBM, yung next na president can push for more comprehensive charter change. So the idea of a Marcos Jr. overseeing a change of constitution that try to avoid something that his father created, the moment we'll go there, then you're talking about some new uncharted territories. But as I said, at the very least, you're breaking certain psychological barriers. You're breaking stigma. You're breaking taboos, right? Pag nawala na yung taboo and stigma na yan, it's an open field. And that is why we have to pay very, very close attention to what is happening here. Ako, ang basa ko talaga dito is, kung hindi nag-iingay ng tao, kung hindi nagkaroon ng backlash dun sa EDSA Puera, ganyan-ganyan, siguro, ibang usapan na ngayon Hindi lang plebiscite or hindi lang economic provisions. This could have gone in a completely different direction. Much wilder version. So what I'm saying here is that hindi ibig sabihin niyan na wala tayong magawa. Hindi ibig sabihin niyan na hopeless case tayo. Ang ibig sabihin niya is dapat vigilant tayo, dapat engaged tayo, dapat nagsuscrutinize tayo. And having said all of that, ako in principle, I am okay with changing certain provisions of our Constitution dahil I'm not 100% sold on the 1987 Constitution. I think there are a lot of things in the 1987 Constitution that hindi necessarily tugma dun sa mga pangangailangan natin sa 21st century. Sa akin palagay, may mga elements sa 1997 Constitution na more of reaction dun sa mga masamang nangyari nung panahon ng martial law, but are not necessarily the best thing for us given anong pangangailangan ng bansa natin sa panahon ngayon, di ba? But having said that, the change should be done in a proper way. And the change should be done by the right people. And that is why the least we can do is scrutinize this, follow. And if we find something fishy and all, dapat mag-react tayo, mag-respond tayo. Because ang trajectory ngayon ng itong Chacha is not too different from Maharlika Fund. Kung maalala niyo yung Maharlika Fund, the first version that came out was kind of crazy, right? In fact, the first version I think had Marcos Jr. as the de facto head of the Maharlika Fund. And then nung nagkaroon ng sobrang daming backlash, etc., they went through multiple provisions. Pero sa dulo, pinilit pa rin nila They still cleared the Maharlika Fund. But the Maharlika Fund that came out, the final version that came out, or the final version that is still being operationalized and all, it's nowhere as bad as the first version. So while hindi nag-succeed yung mga critics in terms of stopping the Maharlika Fund from happening, they at least were able to call out the best, call a CU, hindi lang call out, but to call out the worst version of the Maharlika Fund. So my sense is, if this Chacha is gonna happen, through scrutiny mobilization, the very least that the opposition can do is to make sure that the worst version of Chacha doesn't happen, right? And you want to also do that because you want to also send a signal to the next administrations or to this administration after 2025 na hindi natutulog ang taong bayan. na bantay sarado ang taong bayan and vigilante ang taong bayan, and people will make sure that any changes will be really for the good of the country, hindi for the good of Trapos. Alright? On that note, thank you very much again. Pasensya again guys dun sa kung may mga audio problem or technical problems tayo, etc. Sabi ko baka it's the phone or something, so probably have to get something new. And thank you sa mga suggestions, whether wag mo na yung mga Chinese phone, baka Korean na lang. And thank you also dun sa mga pasensyoso and yung mga, alam mo na, na-appreciate nila what we're trying to do here in this kind of a monologue conversation and all of that. As I said, these vlogs are not just about pakyut. These vlogs are not only about, I don't know, pakitang gilas. These vlogs are also about making sure na we enhance our critical thinking skills, no? Unti-unti. Kasi hindi naman pwede na purong criticize ka lang. Dapat meron ka rin mga mungkahi, pero dapat may framework ka. Dapat you criticize even the criticism if it's necessary, right? And at the same time, dapat isipin mo ng 360 degrees yan. Sinong mga actors involved? Ano mga interest ng mga actors na yan? How are they positioned towards each other? Ano yung asymmetry of power? Ano yung power relationship? Anong pwede natin gawin? So it's about first thinking straight, getting a proper understanding of the situation. And second is about making sure that from there, we can scrutinize and push the government in the right direction. As they say, in democracy, the role of the citizen is to hold the feet of Trapos close to the fire so that they behave themselves, just in case they want to do something fishy. Alright? On that note, thank you very much, and maraming salamat guys. Hope to catch up with you guys soon. We'll try to also have more discussions with other guests soon. But nga, medyo pagod na tayo. Haba ng usapan namin ni Ronaldo kahapon, umabot ng 3 oras almost. So, mag-recover muna tayo dyan. At hopefully, hindi jet lag yung audio natin this time, katulad nung kahapon. Alright? On that note, thank God and thank you. Salamat. God bless and talk to you soon. Salamat po. Thank you very much.